Hey everybody, what's up? It's Tipping the Scales. I'm Shay Dawson.
I'm Tania Rivers. Welcome back.
What up, what up, what up?
Remember that song? It's like, I think it was a sitcom or something like Welcome Back, Carter. Like, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Okay.
Welcome back.
It's crazy that you remember stuff.
Welcome back.
Yep. I remember that actually. That's crazy.
So how's your week? How has your week been? You've been like super busy. OTE. What's hot and heavy with that? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, OTE is evolving. It is the new thing. It's the new wave. It's exciting because there's so many things to innovate. There's so many things to kind of the learnings from last season to this year. So we're revving up for season 2.
Yeah.
We've got new players we're about to announce.
Exciting.
That's exciting. Some really
Very
good players. And then after TBT, meshing the two worlds of the young, new budding superstars with the older, more veteran, pros who kind of understand what overtime is, but haven't had that interaction with it because it wasn't around when they were younger.
Sure.
And so now experiencing that overtime content machine kind of fueling them. Oh my God, it's like a new athlete. I literally feel like I'm helping to weave a new athlete, and it's really, really cool. I love
that.
Yeah,
very
it's
cool.
dope. I really love it.
Well, I wish you guys continued success. You've been building something special over there. So
thanks, T.
I can't wait until I get to see a live game. That's going to be super cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Got to get you down here. VIP treatment, all of that. Yes.
Oh, well, a girl likes VIP. Okay.
Oh, and I know this. Okay. And I love to give VIP. So I can't wait.
Well, listen. So for this week's episode, Shay and I thought it would be great to really focus on how you overcome challenges in your life. So we are really going to focus on one theme word today, and that's lemonade.
Lemonade. Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because oftentimes life will throw us through some serious loops and probably not prepared for them when they do come.
Mm-hmm.
But there's an expectation for oneself that you have to overcome it. And when you get those lemons, you make lemonade. It's just as simple as that. So I think it would be helpful for us to talk about different challenges that we had in our lives, and perhaps it could inspire someone else along the way.
I think Beyonce knows a lot about lemonade. Remember, she made that whole album, Lemonade. So, I think lemonade is appropriate just for the time that we're in as well.
Yeah.
I can literally run down a number of challenges that I have overcome and currently overcoming.
Yeah. What would you say was your largest, your most, or not even largest, your most difficult challenge that you had so far in your life? What would make your top 3?
My most difficult challenge would have to be something that's internal, something that people can't see. It's more of like doubting myself.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people see, like I have confidence, I have confidence in myself.
Yeah, sure.
But there's a lot of things that I want to do in this world that scare people and scare myself.
Yeah.
And so I'm constantly always pushing the envelope of what those things are. I'm never settling. I'm never content.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. But it's also every time I, try to push for something new or do something that hasn't been done, I doubt myself the entire way. So I think just continuing to put, like, there's times where I felt like I want to give up on things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would just say, like, consistently trying to like push through that self-talk. So the challenge of that inner struggle of like, you're meant to do more. And like, no, actually this is okay. I'm having a really good time. Like I'm making good money here. I'm doing this, but knowing like once you hit that plateau of like, you're comfortable, like going pushing through. I think those are the challenges that I experience. Because everything
challenge,
in life,
no change. I always say that.
Preach that all the time.
Keep saying it.
And I hear
no
it in my
challenge,
head.
no change.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah.
But I would say, so I wouldn't consider things that happen to me physically are challenging because I'm always doing that deep work. So I would say it's the internal struggles that are most challenging for me in my life.
Yeah. I think you're spot on, Shay. And
What about you?
you talked about, I'm gonna get to me in 1 second, but I got to dig in because you said something that I think people need to hear, because what I heard you say was when you get that way, when you feel like you're becoming complacent, another word for that is just stuck. How you have to give yourself that that pep talk that you have to give yourself in order to kind of push past that
I have
wall.
to literally kill off a part of myself.
Yeah. How do you do that? Like, what do you say? What do you do? Like, what does that look like if we have a blank canvas, we want to paint a picture for folks to help them? Because I think many of us get stuck and we're trying to figure out how to dodge and weave, how to get around that wall of complacency, or just, even if it could be confusion, how it manifests for you could be very much different from most. But how do you push past? How do you move forward?
Well, for me, it looks like when I'm stuck, that's when I know I need to kill off a part of myself, because clearly I can't go further than where I'm stuck at. So I have to do something differently. I have to make a dramatic change. I have to change my actions, change my thought. And let me see if I can like paint the picture of like what that will look like, right? Let's say I'm working really, really hard at work, and I think the way things are going, it looks like I'm going to get a promotion.
Yeah.
And then it hits and I don't. And I've put everything, I've already spent the money in my head. I've already changed the title in my head.
Been there, done that.
I've already imagined telling my family and telling my friends that this is going to happen, or maybe I've already done that. And then, it comes and then I have to change course. So I sit in that, I cry in the shower. I'm constantly thinking about it as I'm driving. I'm Googling things to read, like what happens, when you don't get a promotion at work, and reading other people's story. I try to find podcasts that kind of help me to structure, maybe to understand why I didn't get that promotion, or why I wasn't ready, or how the world maybe, or how that person or how that company perceived me. And then, so I constantly it's a combination of a bunch of those things.
Yeah.
And then I lock in on something else and I focus on that thing, and it changes me. That process of like locking in on something else. And I literally take that thing that I thought I was going to get and I put it out of my mind by focusing on something else, i.e. tipping the scales. And now I'm a different person. Now when I speak in public, I'm a lot better. I'm a lot different. I'm good with those like, you know what I mean? Like I completely changed everything that I was about. I never had a podcast before. When I hit that wall, hit that challenge, I said, you know what? Let me control what I can control. And I went to the podcast route. I reached out to a friend and I said, sis, we need to do this. And you said yes. And so like, it's more of like, I literally cut off the place I thought I wanted to go. It's over.
Yeah.
It was shattered.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm changing. I'm going in this direction. And that's kind of how I do it.
Wow. That's a lot. But I think you're basically explaining in bite-sized pieces how you're able to push past whatever it is that you got going on in your life. And it changes, right? Like most successful people look for challenges, right? Like, because it's what makes you better. It's like almost like peeling back a layer of skin and going to be a better version of yourself. But to answer your question, I would say, well, I had many of them.
Yes.
I think the toughest part for me is acceptance. Like I had, when I think about the top three, number one would be just overcoming, just being a young mom and fighting through that. But I told that story, a few times. So I think people understand that struggle. And many of us who are single parents kind of understand that. And how we got through it, it's very much different for each of us. But part of it is acceptance. And what I mean by that is of me, of everything about me. Because I'm very competitive, and you tease me a lot about that.
I do.
And because I'm always I'm constantly pushing myself to be better. Like I tell myself many times that, I'm not good enough. And it has taken me a very long time to just accept Tania for who she is. And that's all aspects. So holistically looking at my life. So physical appearance, where I'm at in terms of the status of just my personal life as it relates to relationships, as it relates to just where I'm at professionally. You know, like I have to accept. So what I don't mean that in the sense that I'm stopping here, because there's so much more that I want to do. Like I'm writing a book, you know, and
I want to write a book too. So share that with me later.
I will.
Okay.
It's a good topic too.
Yeah.
But I'm constantly always looking to change. Like I'm never satisfied in life. And I kept feeling like something was missing in my life. And I had to tell myself that what's missing is just acceptance of me.
It's
just
me.
appreciating me for who I am and all that I have, and just being proud of everything that, you know, every little detail, because I could say, oh, I want to be a size 0. I'm not small enough. You know, I want to have a perkier boobs, you know, like it's just like so many different things that I'm constantly I want.
The voices keep telling you, like, you need this.
Yeah.
What if you had this? Yeah.
But I had to come to grips and say, I got to accept first. And that doesn't mean you stop doing you, because like I still work out, I still want to be healthy, eat healthy, and exercise the things that bring me joy. But in terms of trying to have a certain look, I got to move past that.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's hard for people, for sure. Not easy.
No, not easy. And it sounds very similar to but it's not a surprise. I mean, we're very similar.
Yeah.
And not settling, and always wanting to improve and always wanting to challenge and be challenged. So I think that also watching other people go through things and realizing that like that came across, you know, your path or the universe or whatever, and understanding like you can also learn from other people's challenges. You don't necessarily have to go through challenges to understand how to overcome them.
That's right.
And right? Like sometimes it's like that person is in your life for some reason, a reason or a season. You know, they say like, so even when I like met Nafis and like learned about his journey and what he went through, I applied a lot of the stuff that he said to my life so that I wouldn't, you know, make the same mistakes, or, you know, learn from, you know, challenges he has in terms of relationships with his family members. And it's like, oh, like, because when you're on the outside, you can be more prescriptive. You can be more like, you can give better advice to someone else than when you're, you know, in the moment.
When you're in it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Exactly. Sometimes I feel like I can give better advice as opposed to taking my own, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So other things that I think have impacted me over time too is caring too much about what people think about where I should be and whatever it is,
living up to their standards.
Yeah. Like no more of living up to other standards. Like I have a standard that I set for myself, and that's going to change. Like I'm going to constantly evolve. But what I won't do is try so hard, because I've done this for sure, is try hard to get others to really appreciate where I am and not feeling like it had to be something personal too, because just to my family, when I think about my mom, she was married, like she's married twice. Like, of course, my dad passed away, but she's married, and all of my aunts except one are married.
Yeah.
And a lot of my friends are married, and that was a huge thing too. Like by this certain age, I must be married. And then sometimes I would run into people that I went to school with, or just maybe people I haven't seen in a long time. They're like, "Oh, heard about, of course they always know about Mikhail. Like people are more impressed by him than me."
Yeah. Yeah. No,
of
definitely.
Course, right?
That's the world.
Yeah. So it's normally I run into someone, it's, oh, congratulations, your son's doing really well, and blah, blah, blah. And, I heard you're doing well too. I think it seems like you have everything going on in your life, except you never got married, huh?
Isn't that so like, it's like a cut. It's like,
Yeah.
oh,
It's like,
like, you
oh.
don't think I think about that every day? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't think I have my own thoughts about, yeah. I don't know what that
Yeah.
is. I don't know what that is when people do that.
I don't know. And I know that I have a friend who's close to my age, like I'll be 45 in a few months. And she's close to my age in her 40s, and she never had children. And she's married.
Mm-hmm.
And her family, it's like a constant, continuous conversation. Like, is everything okay? Like, are you all right? Is your husband okay? Like, you guys having issues? And I know she struggles with that too. I'm like, you got to stop. Like, if you want children, you want children.
Mm-hmm.
Children are a blessing. My son is a huge blessing to me and continues to be in my life since he was born.
Mm-hmm.
But there are people who just don't want to have children, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But she feels so much pressure from her parents and not just that, just coworkers,
because
friends.
they need something to live for, probably.
It's like, why you're not married yet? So I think I'm at the point too where I care, but I don't. Respectfully.
That's good. That's fire. I honestly have never really cared. I've been kind of free balling my personality and who I am for a really long time.
Yeah, you used to say, T, who cares? Like, you tell me that all the time. Like, T, who cares?
One, because your perception of yourself and, other people's perception of you is completely different,
Yeah.
Like all the little things you nitpick at, people are in awe of. And so it's really hard to see how other people see you sometimes. But like when people look at you, or when I say Tania, or, people from the Sixers, they're like, oh my, their eyes light up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and sometimes that's not how you see yourself. Like, I'm sure sometimes when you nitpick at the little things, I'm sure your eyes aren't lighting up, but they should be. Cause it's like, you are amazing. And it's like, like you do exude all of that, physically, mentally, emotionally. So like, you're always there for people. Like, you just have a lot going on for yourself. And so I'm glad that you're at that place. You know what I'm saying?
Took a while.
Like, it took a while, but that's the beauty of it. And that's why having a podcast and being able to share this, somebody else is probably going through that.
Yeah.
Or reaching that same point as you. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking too, like, what other challenges? And I don't want to share challenges that happen in my life. Everybody's going to have their own challenges. Like, we don't need sob stories on here, but we just need more. Like, the reason why I'm sharing my internal things is because that's what we don't talk about. Like, even my friend and I were talking about this weekend, like all the sexual stories, the sexual nightmares that happen to us. A lot of people went through that suffering in silence because it's not something you talk about. Right?
Yeah.
Like things that happen to you. If you got a UTI, like you're all scared to like tell people because you don't know what it is. It's like no one prepares you for that. Not your parents. It's not like your friends are talking about it. So it's like all that stuff you diagnose yourself with, like cancer, like stuff like that. Cause we don't talk about the internal. So I'm going to talk about my internal challenges, today on this. When we talk about Lemonade, because
love it.
And I even think about when I think about myself, like advocating for myself. I can fiercely stand up for other people. I can fiercely go in for other people. But when it comes to me, You are now.
I
am now. But like, it's hard too. Cause it's like, do I want to, start something, a conflict? Do I want to have someone mad at me? Do I want to have a rift with someone? I'm also always afraid to like upset the scale. You know what I mean? Like, we tip in the scale, but sometimes I'm afraid to tip the scale. And, that's just an honest thing is like, I like when it's somewhat harmonized. I like when it's somewhat balanced.
Somewhat balanced.
But sometimes you have to put all your weight on that other side in order to advocate for yourself, to break through and get what you need. And sometimes I'm deathly afraid to do that in my relationship.
Wow.
Or in personal relationships or at work. It's like, I don't know, like that's another internal struggle I have that maybe I don't talk about enough. Is like, how do I speak up for myself without, it's okay to upset the other side, especially if I have to, communicate that in a way that maybe it didn't come off as loving. Because I always, that's my intention, is to always be loving, right? But sometimes it's hard for me to push past that and like actually say something sternly or matter of fact, because I don't want to hurt someone else's feelings, So I have a hard time doing that too. And sometimes I miss out on opportunities. Sometimes I've missed out on love. Sometimes I've missed out on things because
me too.
I would suffer in silence,
Yeah. And I think if we don't leave anything, not one nugget with you today, from this episode is talk.
Mm.
You know, don't sit in silence about anything,
Mm-hmm.
because in order for you to heal, you have to reveal. You know, like those kind of go hand in hand. And when you don't, it's like a disruption to the system for sure. And in order for you to move past it, you have to really just, even if it's just speaking it out or writing it down, you have to address it and not just tuck it away. Because when you tuck it away, you're never going to heal. And that's part of the process. You know, it's funny because I was speaking to a friend of mine today who opened up. She told me a story about when she was 12 years old, that her uncle almost raped her. He had a really nice shiny bike, just caught her eyes,
Like
Remember back in the day we saw
bike?
like a regular bike, like a pedal bike.
Mm-hmm.
Remember back in the day when pedal bikes was like the thing, you could see a nice shiny bike and you're like, oh, love that bike.
Yeah.
And he had like a really nice shiny bike. And she was like, hey, can I go for a ride on your bike? He's like, yeah, I'll take you for a ride. I'll let you go for a ride later. And he came back later in the day. It wasn't quite dark outside. But he came back, was like, hey, come on, you can ride my bike. And she was like all excited, running down the stairs. And when she got to the bike, he was like, well, hop on. She's like, well, I kind of wanted to ride the bike by myself. He was like, no, hop on. He's like, I'll take you for a ride and then I'll let you ride it. But, and she got on the bike and she realized that he was like going near the park.
Mm.
So he got to the park and he's like, oh yeah, I left a piece on the bike. A piece of the bike dropped off in this bush over here. And she was like, no, I don't want to do that. And then he just like kind of charged her and threw her down, and tried to rape her.
Mm-hmm.
And out of nowhere, a gentleman came and just like helped her and then walked her across the street. She's old. She's probably like 50. Walked her across the street. That was back in the day when there was telephone booths. And she went to the telephone booth and called, I believe someone in her family came and got her. But one of the things she didn't do, she didn't sit in silence, but she told someone. And guess what happened? I think this happens sometimes for people who experience that type of trauma. Is she told someone, and what do you think happened?
They went and got him.
They didn't believe, they came and got her, but they didn't believe her.
Oh.
Her mom didn't believe her. The uncle's mother didn't believe her.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, she's like, T, I have dirt all on the back of my back. There's dirt all in my nails. I look like I physically was trying to get him off of me.
Mm.
And I say all this to preface that although she told someone that story when it happened, she haven't really talked about it it's been a very long time. Like I said, this happened when she was 12. She's 50 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something that haunts her,
mm-hmm.
And it just felt good for her to talk to me about it. And I was telling her about what happened to someone else I knew and how so many women that I know, unfortunately, went through something in their life where they were either inappropriately touched or tried to get touched or molested by someone in their family. And how you really have to get help to deal with such a traumatic experience. And although she told someone, they never believed her. But right now in her life is still something that impacts her. So going to therapy about it is going to help her. So again, that's a way of kind of talking it out, not sitting in silence, so she can deal with that situation that happened in her life and get healing so it doesn't continue to have such a stronghold on her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
wow. That's very deep.
Very deep.
I mean, I have an aunt who's amazing. Her name is LaDonna Cruzby. She's the best. And it's my mom's younger sister. And she also is a sexual assault survivor.
Oh,
and she is amazing.
Amen.
Actually, we need to bring her on and talk about her story and talk about how she literally made lemonade with her story. And she was young.
Yes.
And you know how your parents tell you not to open the door for strangers? You know, it was or not strangers, anyone really. And it was a family friend who came over and knocked on the door. I think he wanted to borrow cigarettes or a lighter or something like that. And, not thinking anything of it. And he pushed his way through and kidnapped her. And it was a crazy story.
Crazy story.
Crazy story. And a lot of my family actually, growing up in the Midwest, have experienced a lot of this type of trauma. You know, my grandmother has experienced a lot of trauma as well. She actually is a survivor, like of a gun jamming, you know, in her face.
Wow.
And it's just crazy because it's like those situations, if it doesn't break you, it only makes you stronger.
Makes you much stronger.
Right? And my grandmother's so strong. I mean, so strong. And my aunt is so strong. And now what she does is she wrote a book. Well, she wrote tons of books. And she gives back. She has speeches. She goes to classrooms. Like she really does a lot of advocacy work. And she empowers other people to not go. And she teaches different tactics and stuff like that when, you know, kids are, you know, have to be left at home and all that kind of stuff. So shout out to her and your friend as well, because it's not easy to go through that. But again, it's that talking it out. It's turning those bad things that happen to you in life into something positive.
Squeezing
and not
the
letting
lemons,
control
making
you.
that lemonade.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is important.
Yeah.
And I think we've all made lemonade and continue to make it throughout our lives. It's not just kind of like one pitcher, one batch, and you're done. You're going to constantly squeeze those lemons and pour in that water and mix in a smidge of whatever you do, sugar or whatever it is to make.
Sometimes it's a shot of something.
Little tequila.
You know what I'm saying?
Lemonade
like,
is good for me, okay?
Yeah, sometimes you got to spike it. So.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. But the point is, you're not going to stop, right? Like you're going to stay at it. And, you know, people say things and don't let that ever impact you. Like people told me, like, I remember when I told them my son was going to make it to the NBA, they laughed at me and thought I was just this delusional young woman. Because remember, I was 19 when I had him.
Yep.
And they thought I was delusional. And, you know, people tell me I wasn't going to be successful, and lemonade it is. I'm still stirring that lemonade up and drinking it every day. But doesn't mean I don't have I have lemons from something else that I have to kind of squeeze out.
Hell yeah. I remember being at the Sixers and telling you I was about to get this promotion and doing all this research, this market research. Yeah. I walk into that meeting and they hand me a contract with a few zeros on it. I was like, what the hell is this? After
this
all the work I did.
not what I was expecting.
Right? And telling me what I'm not and what I'm this and I'm that.
Right.
And I done helped build a whole damn league.
Wow.
A whole damn league with players actually in the NBA today. So it's like, you can never. That
lemonade is good.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay?
You can never listen to anyone when they are doubting you, and they like, you know what's in your heart. You know what I mean? And you got to just keep listening to your own song and your own voice.
That's right.
And sometimes,
you know what you're capable of, for sure.
And right when you feel that person or those people doubting you, cut them straight the fuck off. And that's what I did. I said, you know what?
Clip. I'm
out of here. This is what y'all. This how y'all see me. Deuces.
That's right.
Went somewhere else.
Yep. And it's funny because I had a previous situation with a leader that just was so damn disrespectful. The things he would say was just awful. And goodbye. I had to I had to leave that leader. And then after I leave, it's like, oh, you know, want to make it seem like I was just this horrible person for leaving. And it's like, perhaps you should have treated me better when I was there. You didn't realize what you had until it was gone. And now I'm gone doing great things at a bigger company, at a better organization. And you realize that you probably messed up. And you probably should have treated someone a little bit better than what you did. But to Shay's point, don't ever stay in something when you know you're better than and when you know you deserve more. The only behavior you can control is your own. And if you start letting someone else control your behavior, then you lost your way.
And so respect is cheaper. Yeah. So I don't understand why people don't realize that. You respect me, you save more money. I go harder. You disrespect me, I'm going to show you up. And now it's going to cost you either your business or more money or
your
something.
Reputation.
You know what I'm saying? And it's
going to cost you something. Yeah.
It's like, that's crazy. It's crazy. Go ahead and bet against me if you want.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I'm going to make you pay.
I'm going to make you pay. I love this little fireball.
But it's also not it's not in a petty way. It's more of like,
I'm going to show you.
I'm going to show you.
Remember
and you're going to be over there.
Remember that t-shirt I found? It says, remember that, what did it say? It said, oh, I'm that song you skipped and later on found out that it was fire.
Fire.
Right?
Fire.
This is, we are those songs. And now you're listening back and you're like, damn, What a nice song.
How did she
song.
do that? Because I thought she, how did, I
you
bet
thought
she
wrong.
Yeah. Wrong.
So listen, folks, our tippers, we're here for you. Please know that if you're going through a tough situation right now, it's a short period of time, and you will get past whatever obstacle you are trying to climb over right now. Just know that you can make it and you can do it. And if you're struggling, reach out to someone. Shay and I, we're always hit us up. Even outside of our pod, we want to be a beacon of hope and a beacon of life, a beacon of light in our community. I know I said life, I meant light, but hell, we could be both. But we want to help people. So don't hesitate to reach out. Please continue to follow Tipping the Scales wherever you get your podcast. We're on this journey together, folks, and we can lean on one another till we get to our journey, during our journey.
Tipping the Scales Consulting coming soon.
Hey.
But we appreciate you guys. Continue to hit us up on Instagram too. We love it. We want to encourage you to message us about topics. I know T said last time, don't be hitting me up. Yeah, hit us up and let us know if you agree or you don't agree with the things we talk about. We want to have those conversations going. We want to open that up because you understand that like life is about energy, recycling energy. And we need to make sure that we are hearing what you guys are saying so we continue to just add value.
Amen.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.